Hello and welcome to my review of the LEGO Star Wars 7751 AHSOKA'S STARFIGHTER in VULTURE DROID, released in 2009. This set had 291 pieces and 4 total characters, with R7-A7, Ahsoka being the lone true minifigure, and 2 buzz droids. Upon release, the set cost $40, but if you want to buy one sealed in box today, you're looking somewhere around $300 to $400. This is by no means cheap, but it was also by no means cheap when it released in 2009, because I always thought this set was overpriced when it released, and I'll explain exactly why at the end of the video. Opening up the box, I was low-key hoping to find a Chrome Vader, but there was none to be found. I did find one of the most disgusting looking sticker sheets I have ever seen in a LEGO Star Wars set. This thing is yellowed to death. It looks like the actual stickers aren't yellowed, but the paper underneath is yellowed, so it should be fine when I build it. My instruction manual came out surprisingly pristine, and it does have some very cool advertisements in the back, and there are no numbered bags in this set, which you would think there would because it's 2 separate builds and they could have separated them nicely, but no, they're just all thrown in together. The Ahsoka minifig here is standard for the time, with her green lightsaber as the lone accessory. Her Leku, as many times as I've talked about this figure, is still fantastic, especially for 2009. It's got an incredible amount of detail and basically a perfect print every time I pulled one out of the box, so really good quality for the time. Overall, the look of the character is pretty nice. Obviously, it'd look much nicer nowadays with modern leg and hip printing, and even a little bit of a back print would not hurt this figure, but overall, it's a good figure for the time and one that is obviously necessary for this set. Now, also necessary for this set and exclusive to this set is her astromech droid R7-A7, and this one is in the old dark red color, so I was a little bit worried it might snap when I was putting it together, but we did get lucky and it did not snap. But this is a really aesthetically pleasing astromech droid that perfectly matches Ahsoka's Starfighter, because it's got that same lime green, it's got the white tones, and then it's got the dark red, and so it matches perfectly. I love that they were able to do that. Outside of it just being a uniquely colored astromech droid, it's not particularly notable for any design aspect. It just looks cool because it color matches the ship. Now, the buzz droids in this set are the 2005 design that came out with Revenge of the Sith. To this point, they had not changed the design at all, and I actually didn't mind that here and still don't, because I kind of look at this as the best buzz droid design. I mean, I think unless they made a special mold for one, they would never get it like perfect, if you will, in a Lego scale. So I think for like the brick built ones, I've always really liked these. I mean, it's probably definitely a nostalgia driven statement, but I don't really care. Now, I wanted to start out by telling you all about Ahsoka's Starfighter here. However, I couldn't get the last brick on. It literally wouldn't go on, and it was starting to creak and sound like it was going to crack. It is that old dark red. It's quite brittle, and so we're going to attempt live to attach it before I review the build. And it's so beautifully printed too, it would be so tragic to see it snap in half. So this little hairline crack actually happened while I was building it. It wasn't going together, and as I pushed slightly harder, I could hear it crack, and then I noticed a large crack there. So I am going to have to buy a replacement piece no matter what. I'm just hoping the whole thing won't break when I attach it. I hate this so much. Dude, it just won't. Oh, this feels like it's gonna break. I can't believe this is what it's come to. It's like not even connecting. Oh, it's so bad. That's awful. Now, despite the cracking and colors not mixing perfectly, I did say it was beautifully printed, and it is. It was absolutely worth the trouble of printing these because they look gorgeous, and I believe these are pieces that LEGO has done stickers on before in the past, and so I was kind of surprised that they did print these, but man, it was a great idea because it really adds a lot to this set to have it this nicely detailed here. The side wings on Ahsoka's Starfighter are nicely detailed with kind of this white striping that flows all throughout. You have the main blasters on top here, and that is going to be the same on both sides, except for the little Republic logo here, which unfortunately isn't printed. It is a sticker. They were printing these on sets in the like mid 2000s, but I guess by 2009 it was full sticker season, which is unfortunate. Again, here was another 2x2 plate that isn't printed. It is a sticker, and that causes the white to look more off than it really needs to, but overall the stickers add nice detail and like contouring to it. It's just like the color of it will always look a little bit off. Now, these stickers on the side of the cockpit actually have some nice green striping, and they are clear stickers, so they can get air bubbles and look a little bit awkward at certain angles, so it's kind of important if you do buy a sealed one of these to be very careful when applying them, but I think I did a pretty good job and they look really nice. There's also more Republic logos near the back, and again, that is going to be the same on the other side. The fin on the very back of the Starfighter does not have a print or a sticker on it. They do in some other sets, but this one's just blank. Getting back to the center of the ship, though, we have the slot for the astromech droid, and for some some reason they opted to leave it completely tiled on the bottom. There's no studs, which is pretty standard for something like this. Like usually they put something there so when you flip the ship over, it doesn't fall out. However, that was not done here, but it's kind of a sneaky positive because this astromech droid is in the dark red color that can snap so easily. If you were placing it onto studs and taking it off of studs, there's a pretty decent chance the feet would have snapped by now, or even on my first attempt would have snapped. So it's something that's definitely worked out long term, but honestly, for what this set is, it should have had studs there to hold the astromech droid down, as there's no real functionality being used that requires tiles. The cockpit for Ahsoka is really simple. You just pull the windscreen off. Inside, you'll find a nice printed control panel, although it looks a bit dated now, and then you can place Ahsoka in. She just sits on the 4 studs at the bottom, which means her legs theoretically could get stuck pretty easily on this one. But I think this is one of those sets that actually does look extra cool when you put the characters inside of it. Overall, very nice looking on the top side. Taking a look at the bottom, you'll see the engines here. They're quite nice. Some airplane engines on the back. You have the landing gear, and you have your play feature for the flick fire missiles on the underside, which can be activated by pushing on this piece at the back, which will shoot off the flick fire missiles. Pretty cool. The landing gear is very sturdy. As I push down on the ship, nothing really happens, and if you want to retract it, you can do so very easily. They leave plenty of space on the bottom of this, so the landing gear can be pretty flush with the actual body of the Starfighter. I really do like that. And so now that you've kind of entered the flight mode, you are good to take off and go. And of course, in hot pursuit of her is the Vulture Droid. Now, this is a build that's pretty covered in stickers, starting with the red eyes that do look good, and as that flows to the back part of the head, you'll see the Separatist logo, but you'll also notice I kind of misaligned the sticker, so if you're not careful, you can end up doing the same, and it definitely doesn't look its best when it's not lined up perfectly, as you can tell. You'll find some white triangle stickers on the top, as well as 4 more of them on each of the appendages. I don't know, legs, arms, I don't know what you call them on a Vulture Droid. Now, functionally, this Vulture Droid added a lot from what we had seen in 2005, unlike the Buzz Droids, which, as I mentioned, remain the same, but this really wasn't the first version of the Vulture Droid since 2005. The one that came out in 2007 also had some of these functions, but just to kind of give you an idea that this was pretty upgraded from what most people would have had at the time. You have the swiveling head on top, which is pretty cool. I love that they were able to include that. I just don't love how easily it swivels, so it's like you can't put it in a spot and leave it there, which would be pretty optimal to me. It also has the droid arms for the neck, so you can actually move it really far forward or pull it really far back, and then you can snap it down and into place like that, which I always really liked. So you can kind of have like a standard down mode versus an up and like in the action mode, I guess. But whenever the droid head is down, I always kind of think of that as you're supposed to put these up like so, and then close the wings or arms or legs, whatever you want to call them, like that. And that's kind of that mode to me for the Vulture Droid. That's just always how I've envisioned it based off like Lego Star Wars box arts and what I kind of remember from the show and the movies. And so in this mode, maybe the biggest attractor is how large these black pieces are here. They kind of stick out and kind of take away from the design slightly. So I think that's maybe the worst part of this. If anything, that's definitely a bit of a nitpick there, but it is a thing that you can see. Also, when it's in this mode, it pretty much completely blocks those flick fire missiles. I mean, there's a chance you could maybe slip it through there, but I mean, realistically, like, it's probably going to get stuck. But I do think these smaller scale Vulture Droids always look great in their flight mode, especially with the head pulled up slightly. I think that's just a pretty optimal look where it's kind of looking around and you can dart it from left to right. I just think it's super cool in a lot of ways, and now I'll try out those flick fire missiles without anything in the way. Yeah, it's not so great if you don't flick it, I guess. Let's see if we can get one good shot out of this. Oh yeah, dude, we hit the wall back there. That's cool. So LEGO has done tons of Vulture Droids over the years, but I do really consider this 2009 one to be one of the better ones. Again, the whole package here was $40, but 1 year earlier in 2008, LEGO released Anakin's Jedi Interceptor, which is basically the exact same design here, for just $20. So you're going to tell me that there is worth $20? Not a chance. Also mentioned earlier, in 2007, the Vulture Droid along with the N1 Starfighter was $30, and I would say that N1 Starfighter definitely feels like it was bigger than what we see with AHSOKA'S Starfighter, so where does that extra $10 come in here? And then 4 years before this, in 2005, you had the Anakin's Jedi Starfighter and Vulture Droid, and that set was only $20, although given it's 4 years off, the price is a little harder to compare one-to-one, given inflation would be a bigger factor, but still, I think you get the point. This set was overpriced compared to its very, very comparable peers. Typically, when I complain about quality on a LEGO set, it's like the minifigure or the design, but literally the bricks cracking, to me, is pretty unacceptable, but it's kind of hard to rate this set. Like, I think it's a well-designed design set. It looks nice. The colors are pretty good, although the stickers and the bricks don't match perfectly. That's definitely a downside. You get nice minifigs, slightly overpriced at $40 at the time. This is a hard one to rate. I think I'm going to give this one a 7.5, 8 out of 10. It's somewhere in that range. It definitely has flaws, but there are two very good versions of the ships, which is what kind of matters. But like also there's quality and price issues, so those also matter. I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below, and check out more LEGO Star Wars 2009 reviews on the end screen now.